What if I get it wrong? Oh, those are so profound words. I hear that in my head all the time, every single day. Redefining success requires us to be honest with ourselves. And as humans, we often try to sabotage ourselves in this process. Boy, could I talk all day about that. We're going to talk about what happens if you redefine it wrongly and give you 2 tips on how to prevent it on today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you as well, Bob. How are you doing on this lovely day?
I'm good, but we should tell people we're wearing the same clothes we were wearing earlier this week because we are actually recording this episode. I'm wearing the same clothes I've had on since Tuesday. It is actually being recorded on Tuesday because I have a little conflict Wednesday and wasn't sure where I'd be on Thursday and Friday. So apologies to those of you who are giving real live comments and you're disappointed. I know at least one person gets very disappointed when we don't reply to their comments. So there's that.
Now, you might want to redefine success.
You got to roll through this really fast, Tom, because I love this topic. What if I get it wrong? This is like in my head 24/7. So we got to get through these celebrations super quick. So I'm going to celebrate the fact that we can learn from when we do something wrong. And we'll talk about that more in a minute. What are you celebrating, Tom? See, I'm serious. We're rolling.
I'm celebrating that the weather is much warmer than it has been. We've gone through a couple of days of very cold weather, and I have been out on the field for 2 of those days in the afternoon.
Officiating girls and women's
lacrosse. And it has been very cold. And I am tired of bundling up. I am looking forward to shorts and short sleeves out on the field and working up a really good sweat, because right now my legs are very pale. So that'll be a little scary for a while. And then they will tan up eventually. So I'm looking forward to
upstate New York, the middle of nowhere, upstate New York, and you're bothered by the cold?
I have now been in Maryland for how long have I been in Maryland? For 14 years.
Okay.
So I'm starting to adjust to the new climate and looking forward.
The great thing about Maryland is the weather will change every 15 minutes. No matter what you do, it's going to change. It'll get windy, it'll rain, it'll sleet, it'll snow, it'll get hotter, it'll get colder every 15 minutes.
Seems like August, it's always hot.
But then you get a thunderstorm.
Hot. June, typically pretty hot.
So, fair enough. Okay.
15 minutes, that's a pretty quick interval to have that much change. Anyhow, so let's talk about redefining success. And today, as you mentioned, we are going to talk about what if I get it. I can't use that other word because it's a word that I don't say. So I'm not going to say it. So this could be an interesting episode for me as I try to navigate through the conversation without using a word that I have added to my list of words not to use if I can.
You should publish that list for us on the Facebook page, the Ring Renegades Facebook group. That'd be a great list to share. Maybe people will add to your list.
It's a good idea. Maybe I should.
Every now and then. Blind squirrel nut. I'm just saying.
A little an inside joke there. All right. So Monday we've been talking about redefining success all week, and Monday we talked about kind of what it is, defining it in some ways. Tuesday we talked about why it matters. Loved that conversation. Wednesday we talked about redefining something other than success, as I recall. But then we got back to success. Fair. Yes, you'd have to go back and watch Wednesday's episode to find out.
First 5 minutes are the best you're going to get.
Yeah. Bob could dive into today's topic solely based on the first 5 minutes of yesterday's episode. So yesterday, though, when we finally got around to it, we talked about redefining.
You know, I could take that two ways, Tom, as I think about it.
I'm lost.
Keep going.
So yesterday, we talked about, as you redefine the success, that one of the important things is that it comes from inside of you. As you try to define for yourself what success means and how that is different from what others may define for themselves, or what they may expect from you in terms of success. So,
or the last one is what we project on them expecting of us.
True. So today we're going to talk about, what if I get it, whatever. What if it doesn't go the way I thought? That's the way I'll share it today. Okay. So obviously, Bob, you are dying to have this conversation and to share some ideas about it. Let's hear it.
I'm a chronic overthinker. So I overthink to excess. And most of what those thoughts are is, what if it goes wrong? I spend far more time thinking about if something goes wrong than if it goes right. And I'm a pretty talented person. Most of the time things go right. I've planned for every contingency of what would go wrong. And often I don't plan for what goes right. Sometimes, honestly, something goes right and I'm like, now what? But if it had gone wrong, I got 18 scenarios, 800 scenarios that I can address if it goes wrong. And I think I know I'm not alone. I've talked to other people who are very similar. And I think what this really is a fear of success, or some people call it a fear of failure. I think it's really both the same thing. I think as we move towards success, whatever success is to us, we're moving into the unknown. And the more we move into the unknown, the more scary it becomes, because we don't know what's behind the door. And so we open the door, we look in, and we don't know what it is. I think that moment where we're going to open the door, a lot of times we're like, you know what? I don't want to open the door. I'm not going to open the door. I'm going to keep the door closed. So one way to avoid opening that door is to constantly talk about what could go wrong. If I open that door, it could be a monster. It could be a snake. It could be a guy carrying an axe. It could be a fire. It could be this. It could be a bomb. See, that's how quickly I can go through this scenario. I rattled those off pretty quickly. That's not uncommon for me. And the people I know who don't worry about getting things wrong as much, they don't play all those scenarios out in their head. They're like, because I've talked to them and it's like, well, aren't you worried about this? They're like, why would that happen? What are the odds of that happening? And it's like, really slim. Like, okay, so why are you worrying about it? I'm like, I don't know the answer. Have I said anything useful?
Of course, always. You're sharing what's real for you. That's always useful. And I think the challenge is that when we're worried about what's behind because really what you're talking about, what are the results? What are the results going to be based on this action? And because of the way I think you define success, you're worried about those results. Because will the results be what you expect them to be? And if they are not, you are going to say that action was the word that I'm choosing not to use.
I would actually say it differently, Tom. I would say that I'm worried about the results making me look bad or embarrassing me.
So something that you can't control, the results, is somehow going to make you look bad or embarrassing. How does that happen? Something you can't control is now something that's going to make you look different.
Well, I think in my mind, if I'm playing through scenarios, I think I have control.
Okay.
I'm not saying I do, don't get me wrong, but and I've heard other people describe this, I have to do this because I'm in control. I need to know that this is going to work the way I need it to.
Whatever works the way we need it to. Percentage-wise. Exactly the way we thought it was.
but also things work better than we expected, right?
Of course.
So, I totally agree with your idea that we should not be focused on results. I agree with you intellectually, but I am really struggling day to day to apply that to my life. It's hard for me to separate myself from the results, because I think if you gave the Strength Finders test and you asked what are my top 5, I bet results driven is way near the top of that.
Sorry, excuse me.
Oh, hey, Tom
Came
with the
out of nowhere.
sneeze. God bless you.
Yeah. So why so results driven?
I think it goes back to my childhood. Boy, that's a trap. But I think as a child, my success was gauged on results. School being the biggest thing.
Okay.
Did you get A's?
So somebody
You
else's
guys see.
expectations of you.
Correct.
Define
And I
your
think those
success.
got embedded in me very early.
Okay. So this is the week. How are you going to redefine success? Might be a good exercise for you to go through is, what do you currently believe success is for you? What's your definition of success? And see if that is only results oriented. And if so, are you able, because if you believe that you want to make the shift away from being so results oriented to something else, come up with a new definition for success that isn't results oriented.
Okay, so I think as you were talking through, I was thinking through it. The answer I would give, what success would be for me now, is positively influencing people's lives.
Can you control that?
Probably not.
You might be able to control 2 of those 3 words.
Influence.
Yep. Or sorry, there's more 4 words there. 3 of the 4 words.
So I can influence lives. I can't do it positive. I can't guarantee it's positive.
You can't guarantee it's going to be positive. You don't have control over that.
Right.
It's like the story you told yesterday about the whole room that you thought hated your presentation and you felt didn't go well, and some person came up to you and said how much it changed their lives.
Right.
You can't control any
and
of
that would be a huge success to me.
But you can't
Even
control
that one
that.
person having a positive experience would be a huge success to me.
And again, can you control that?
No.
So it's still based on results. One person.
Right. But influencing lives certainly is broader.
Do you think that you could have some control over how you influence lives?
I can certainly choose where, when, and how.
How do you influence somebody's life?
Well, you engage with them.
Okay. Now, do you believe that you can't control how much influence you have over them? Legally?
No, I can't control how much influence I have over them.
Okay.
No.
So
by the way,
if all
folks, you're getting a taste of what coaching is. If you're coached by Tom or me, this is the experience that you would get. We've fallen into the Bob gets coach trap yet again, but I knew that coming in somehow. But all kidding aside, it's a great opportunity. And notice Tom is not giving me the answers. Tom doesn't even know the answers, I don't think. He's just trying to help me figure out what my answers for myself are. That's the beauty of the coaching that Tom and I do. So if you're wondering what our coaching looks like, this is it. So keep going, Tom.
Well, I would go back to is influencing people's lives. Sounds like, from what you're saying, might want to be included in whatever your definition of success is.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Has that always been how you would define success? Doesn't sound like, because you talked about results oriented.
No, it wasn't. Not in that way.
So as you're starting to build what the new definition, what else is important to you to determine success?
I don't have an answer for you. I'm going to have to think. What I'll do is I'll pledge by Saturday, I will post it in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, what my redefined definition of success is.
might be good. I'm not going to push you. You can choose whatever day you want to post it. But we do, inside the Reigning of Renegades Facebook group, always have on Friday our discoveries of the week.
Okay, there you go. That'll be my discovery. There you go. That's my.
And that might be good for
discovery.
everyone else, because I think it's really helpful for us to understand what does success mean for us. And I think there are many out there like you, because that's our society, are results-based oriented definitions of success.
Yes.
Did I make $1 million? Is my home big enough? Do I have
pay less in taxes?
Do I have the same social media influence as others?
Right.
I need 1,000 followers. All of those things are results-based definitions of success. And that's why I think that when you go with results-based, it's pretty easy to get at that word that I'm choosing not to use that's in the title of this episode. Correct?
Yeah.
What's the chance that you get it exactly right?
I'm just playing through this idea with what we were talking about before the show.
Okay.
And I realized that it was all results-based.
Yeah.
That I was comparing to someone else and they were doing something that I wasn't.
Correct. It
And
had nothing to do with you.
Correct.
And I think that's the challenge, is that so often when we go with results-based, I firmly believe that the chances of us getting it exactly right, which would define success for us, is limited.
Yes.
Typically, as we talked a little bit about yesterday, we're going to fall short of our expectations, or we are going to exceed our expectations. And I think that both of those are truly just imposters.
Yes.
They're to force us to judge or to maybe incorrectly believe that we figured it out. If we do better, like if the goal is to make $1 million this year and you make $1.5 million, you'd be like, I got this figured out. I know exactly what I'm doing. Right. It reminds me of college. My first semester of college, I got all B's. And I was like, college, it's hard. It was okay. And I sort of think I was like, yeah, I got this figured out. It's all good. Man, did I get a slap in the face the next semester with one class. And I had to go back and be like, what is my new definition of success? And what does that look like? For a student who had always gotten A's in high school, the B's and less than that were not what I was expecting. And so I think at that point, because I think I was still results-based in my definitions of success, I was starting to question. Maybe I didn't belong at this school. Maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was. Maybe I should do something different. Rather than step back and say, what were the chances that I was going to do exactly what I did in the past? It was possible. Right. Some people might have done that. And that wasn't what was real for me. And I think that just creates this either false sense of security or false sense of not doing as well as you thought. Right. And so you start judging yourself based on either your own expectation or somebody else's. And I think that's the challenge of results-based definitions of success.
I'm in complete agreement. I'm just processing. So what's your one thing today, Tom?
So my one thing is, because if we're talking about what if I get it, that other word. Thank you.
Or did you want me to give it the LinkedIn Live? LinkedIn Live or wrong?
Nah, that's okay.
Okay.
Well, I think the other challenge, there's the other side of it as well, is what if I get it right? Correct.
Well, that's really what the real question is. What if I get it right? Now I got to deal with something totally new.
And
the chance to get it wrong.
It's a whole lot easier. Correct. Which leads us to judgment, which again goes back to why we talk about celebrations and celebration, the actions we take, not the results necessarily that we get. And I think that is my one thing is don't think about right or wrong. Just think about what happened and what can I learn from it. And if maybe that was, if you thought about as a definition of success, it's not mine. I'll share that tomorrow. But if you thought of it as, I'm going to stop judging my actions by right or wrong, and I am going to start focusing on what did I learn. That's a definition of success that you could potentially say, I might not need to ever change that. Because I'm always focused on what am I learning. I'm not judging something that I have done based on expectations that I had.
Is it possible your definition of success is in the background on this, in your background?
Yes. Do something today? No.
Okay.
I think that is to me, that is it's more of a mantra.
Okay. For you podcast people, on Tom's background, it says, do something today your future self will thank you for. So I thought that might have been a tease for tomorrow.
That helps me keep thinking about taking the next step.
Okay.
Because the results that I get from the next step today are going to be different than what they will be in the future. And so if I stop taking them, I am going to stop getting results and stop learning from that.
Okay. I think my one thing today is that I'm trying to put it into words. I need to worry less about right and wrong and more about just what is and isn't. And I think that shift is harder than I realized, but it's pretty critical. Because I think I'm judging myself against other people. And it's unfairly stacked. In my mind, it's stacked against me because I don't see every aspect of them. I don't see how hard it is. Like you and I play golf. You're a natural athlete compared to me. You play better golf than me. You could roll out there and just play, and I've got to work really hard at it. I don't know if you work really hard at it. You may go to the driving range every day for 2 weeks before we play and not tell me and then come out and be really good. Or you might be natural. And that's part of what I think the challenge is. We don't know what the other person goes through to get to that place. So to compare with other people is foolish.
Well, and what's the point?
Right.
Exactly. The only point to compare with someone else is to judge yourself.
Correct.
And them at the same time. To say that you're better or you're different or you have more success or they have less or you made more money, they made less, they have a nicer house, you have a not as nice house. All those are just judgments that do nothing to help us move forward. They just hold us back.
All right. Well, this has been a really good discussion, Tom.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being a part of it. If you have thoughts about what if it goes
wrong,
please feel free to share them in the comments. And even though this is recorded, we will go back and share that as well. And I would encourage you to think about what is your definition for success? And is it solely results based? And if that's the case, are you setting yourself up to either be overconfident about what's going on or to beat yourself up because you haven't achieved what the expectations either you or someone else had for you? So something good to consider and think about. And we would love if you wanted to tomorrow, Friday, when we share our discoveries of the week, if you want to share your definition of success, I think that would be awesome. And not for anyone to judge, just as an example. It's something that might impact someone else to stop and think and say, maybe my definition of success is all results oriented, and I might want to think differently about that. They might say, you know what? I like the fact that my definition of success is results oriented. That's okay, because we're all unique. So we look forward to seeing your thoughts and ideas and comments inside our Ring of Renegades Facebook group. If not, we will see you Friday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time for our next edition of Today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegading you. It's worth it. I promise you.
Excellent.
You have to.
Thanks for listening to Today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.